Chairman seek court police protection. Suspects arrested over death of police inspector in Rivers State. Experts says East-West Road design contributed to tanker explosion damage. On the foreign scene, US, UK urge Hamas to accept Israeli truce proposal. I am Constance Mega. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara says politicians must stop playing politics of bitterness and unnecessary rivalry. Governor Fubara said this when he received participants of a training organized by the National Institute for Security Studies at the Government House in Port Harcourt today.
For us to build a very successful nation, it's important for us to work as a team. I want to urge everyone to think first about the well-being of our country. It shouldn't be an issue of unnecessary competition. It shouldn't be an issue of unnecessary rivalry that leads to bitterness, leads to sickness of the bone. We should try and emulate better relationship, knowing fully well that there is nothing on this earth.
Well, Governor Fubara said his administration will collaborate with the Institute in solving the state's security challenges using artificial intelligence.
As a state, we did not hesitate to accept the invitation because we want to tap into it. We want to be part of this success, knowing fully well that their success will also rub off on our state. We will do everything within our power to see that all the agencies that are in their need of this model will look for a way to get in touch with you, to share ideas, and to come up with policies that will help us advance the purpose of governance.
Correspondent Onyechi also reports that participants are in the state for a one-week training on the theme Artificial Intelligence, Security and Emerging Economy in Africa, Challenges and Prospects. Moving on, some local government chairmen in Rivers State are asking the Federal High Court in Abuja to compel the Inspector General of Police and the Department of State Services to provide adequate security for their lives and property. The chairmen in the suit alleged a threat to their lives. Among other prayers, the council chairman also prayed the court to compel the Attorney General of the Federation to ensure that only the laws passed by the Rivers State House of Assembly are enforced in the state. Well, recall that last Monday, the Martin Amehule-led House of Assembly overruled the assent of Governor Fubara and passed the Rivers State Local Government Amendment Bill into law. In another development, a traditional ruler, Eze Ekpeye-Logbo III, Kelvin Anugo, says his arrest over the death of former Ahoda Division DPO, SP Bako Angbashim, was politically motivated. The monarch made this known on Nigeria Info FM's Morning Crossfire today.
When they came to meet me, it was because they said to come and invite me for an interview as a holder for this command. But lo and behold, it was turned to be arrest. When I got there, he now asked me, we were staying in a cell called in Nigeria, but they call it Angola. And they called me and said, Keresi, did you have your children in politics? And about this matter is no longer the death of Bako. This one is a political setup. Irony of it is that when her traditional ruler turned to be chief security officer of the local government.
Well, the monarch also said the traditional leadership of Ekpeye has made efforts to ensure that relative peace is returned to communities in Ahoda after the death of notorious gang leader David Okpara, popularly known as Tubaba.
But believe you me, I stand here to quote that after we were released on bail, I called the people and I said, I gave them 7 days that Tubaba, if he does not declare himself, God of the land will produce it. That has vehemently refused that we will not set up us back. That was why I made a letter to the executive governor to see to give us approval so that we can work with the police to profile the youths that are willing to work for peace as the return, not relative peace, not the holistic, relative peace as return to Ekpeye people now.
In a related development, the Rivers State Police Command has arrested 16 persons linked to the death of Inspector Christiana Erekere, who was killed on the 25th of April. Spokesperson for the command, SP Grace Iringekoko, in a statement, said that Mrs. Erekere was violently attacked with stones by a group of travelers when she tried to record a video of their disruptive behavior after a routine check at the checkpoint in front of Bori Police Station. Well, SP Ringekoko said the attack caused a police officer to lose consciousness. The statement said Inspector Erekere died from her injuries in a hospital. It also said all individuals involved will be apprehended and brought to justice. Earlier, a student of Captain Elechi Amadi Polytechnic, Felix Erekere, who says the late Inspector Christiana Erekere is his elder sister, spoke to our correspondent.
Ever since this incident happened, my mom and her family have been cold. The woman that left the house in the morning to work, she was not on the road, she was not closer to the road. She was in our office where these safety men and women, 16 of them, went to the station and beat her to death. Right now, my mom is on the hospital because of the shock. Who is going to take care of the children? Who is going to take care of my mom? She was the only one taking care of all of us. She was the one paying my school fees. She's the breadwinner of the family. We are calling on the general public, the governor of the state, IG, calling on Commissioner of Police to come to our aid. We don't have anything. We just need justice.
Elsewhere, alleged terrorist negotiator Tukur Mamu, standing trial for terrorism offences, has applied to the Federal High Court in Abuja to transfer him out of the custody of the Department of State Services, DSS. At the resumption of his trial, Mr. Mamu, through his lawyer, Abdul Mohammed, alleged that the DSS has not complied with a court order that he should be allowed access to his personal physician for medical treatment. Still to come. NANS threatens mass action over fuel scarcity in some states. Stay tuned. Thanks a lot for staying with us. And now to the rest of the news. Safety expert Esther Williams says the construction of the East-West Road may have played a role in the significant vehicle damage during Friday's tanker explosion. Dr. Williams, who is the registrar of the Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria, spoke with correspondent Onyeka Chinwosu. She said the barricade along the road made it difficult for motorists to maneuver and escape safely during the fire.
See that the way that road is constructed, if there's any incident, it's not easy to reverse or run. So you just be trapped. So construction companies, when they are making roads, in as much as they're trying to reduce traffic on the road, they should make provisions so that in case of a contingency, somebody can run away. You can see in that instance, they could not.
But Dr. Williams also listed some other safety measures that should be considered by tanker drivers to avert future occurrences.
The carelessness of the company, the carelessness of the driver. Because of these trucks, the brake may not hold. He must have seen the sign and continue to manage. Accidents don't just happen. They are caused by unsafe acts and unsafe conditions, human errors and system failure. They will check the brake system, check the horn, put in place things like extinguisher, and then the driver himself has to be in good condition. That is good health condition.
Well, the safety expert also called on the government to equip the emergency service for swift response in future cases.
The fire service should have responded immediately, maybe because of the location, or maybe they were not even informed. The fire service, is it well, for our emergency procedures, they should update on what they are doing. Even now, if they call the fire service, you'll be surprised. They'll be looking for a way to get water. And maybe there's no fuel or diesel in the fire truck to have gotten there to save people. We have to be proactive because time is very important in emergency situations.
In the meantime, some residents of Port Harcourt say establishing a clear timeline for the transportation of petroleum products, among others, will help reduce the occurrence of tanker fire explosions in the state. They spoke to our correspondent.
We can have a lane called hazmat lane or even the subway specifically for heavy trucks, vehicles conveying in combustibles and inflammables. These will protect the vehicles, the contents they are carrying, and the people surrounding those areas.
If these petrol tankers can be transporting this petrol in the night hours, it will be very, very firm and very, very safe for motorists that are plying roads.
It is very, very dangerous alone to be sharing like a bad road with such like vehicles. This one that has happened now, I don't know whether it's going to speed up the process of fixing the road. Something should be put in place. Whether they should make these people carrying the fuel go at specific times of the day. This in our road we're supposed to be in good standard.
As you may know, 5 people, including a pregnant woman, died after a petrol tanker exploded after colliding with a trailer on the Eleme axis of the East-West Road on Friday night, where the fire damaged over 60 vehicles. In other news, the National Association of Nigerian Students has threatened to embark on mass action if the federal government fails to take urgent steps to address the current fuel scarcity in the country. Well, the association's Senate President Babatunde Akinteye, in a statement today, said the fuel scarcity has left many citizens, including students, frustrated and helpless. Away from that, the Rivers State Deputy Governor Ngozi Odu has promised to amplify the voices of those affected by malaria to advocate for policies that will kick out malaria from Rivers State. The Deputy Governor said this during an event in Port Harcourt as part of the 2024 World Malaria Day celebration, where Professor Odu said with the recently inaugurated Rivers State Contributory Health Protection Program, children and other vulnerable groups can now receive free healthcare treatment. Our correspondent reports that the Deputy Governor was decorated as the End Malaria Champion in Rivers State by the State Ministry of Health. Well, the theme for this year's World Malaria Day is accelerating the fight against malaria for a more equitable world. The board of the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, has approved the recommendation of its Technical and Development Committee to appoint Finidi George as head coach of the Super Eagles.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has urged Palestinian militant group Hamas to quickly accept an Israeli proposal for a truce in the Gaza war and the release of Israeli hostages. Hamas negotiators are expected to meet Qatari and Egyptian mediators in Cairo today to respond to the truce proposal which Israel presented at the weekend. Well, UK's Foreign Secretary David Cameron, who was also in Riyadh for the meeting, described the Israeli proposal as generous. And that's the news this evening. But before we go, let's take a look at the highlights. You heard that Governor Fubara has called for an end to political bitterness. Some Rivers State local government chairmen are in court seeking police protection. 16 suspects have been arrested in connection with the death of a police inspector, Christiana Erikere, in Rivers State. A safety expert says the East-West Road design contributed to Friday's tanker explosion damage. On the foreign scene, the US and UK are urging Hamas to accept Israeli truce proposal. The news was edited by Martha Okerenkem. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I am Constance Mega. Thank you so much for listening. Good evening.